where Rookie of the Year is over 2-3 weeks ago, all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark is starting to push A'ja Wilson for MVP of this league, and I am not exaggerating. She is starting to push A'ja as the best player in the league because I don't see anybody control a game the way Caitlin can.
Did you see what Caitlin Clark did to the WNBA? She didn't simply join the league. She completely changed it. Everyone is raving about Clark's dramatic entrance, and some players are going crazy. But the true question is whether she stole the MVP award or earned it.
With the WNBA assists lead, she's 25 better than anybody else in the league. It's pretty extraordinary for a rookie. Caitlin Clark, in a shock to me, has proven already to be a once-a-generation passer. I did not see that coming at Iowa. I thought scoring, yes, she's the all-time greatest scorer in the history of college basketball, men's or women's, but passing like this? I'm talking about gifted, LeBron-esque bounce passing.
Let's examine what made Clark's debut so astounding. She is not only performing admirably for a rookie, but she is dominating like an experienced professional, scoring goals, dishing out assists, and having court vision. Her performance is off the charts, and ticket sales are so high that even the opposing coaches are baffled by how to stop her.
I'm talking about gifted, LeBron-esque, two-handed, full court, touchdown pass kind of passing, the likes of which I don't see in the WNBA.
However, not everyone is applauding. This isn't just jealousy. It's revealing some serious problems in the league, and believe me when I say that things are going to get heated, because this meteor rise didn't sit well with everyone. Some WNBA veterans are furious, and you won't believe what they're saying. They think Clark is getting too much hype too soon.
She's having impact on her team that nobody else in the league is having on her team. This is a team that went 13-27 last year. And suddenly, the Indiana Fever are the hottest team by far in the league.
Though some of the league's best stars are speaking out, and their grievances go far beyond basic jealousy, you might believe that everyone in the WNBA is celebrating Clark's success. What is the true cause of this sudden backlash?
I've got the fever. I can't help it. I can't stop watching. I can't stop talking about the impact Caitlin Clark is having on game after game after game.
Not everyone is joining the celebration as Caitlin Clark's star continues to grow. In fact, some WNBA veterans are so incensed that they're not just whispering behind the scenes. They're using social media press conferences and interviews to express their annoyance. But why are these seasoned pros so agitated?
She takes over. She maestros. She controls game after game after game with her passing and her carefully chosen spots to score.
Let's start with the experience factor. According to some players, Clark hasn't done her share in the league and is receiving too much attention too fast, which is unfair to the players who have been working hard for years. One veteran, who wished to remain anonymous, told reporters that it's not how things operate here. It's as if she just walked in expecting to be given the keys to the kingdom.
You're really not a rookie anymore. You're that good. You've proven to be that great. Her three-point shooting has heated up, and nobody in the league can flick logo threes as effortlessly as Caitlin can.
However, there are serious concerns about the MVP race. It's not just about respect. The MVP from the previous season, A'ja Wilson, has been putting up incredible numbers this season. Some players believe that Clark's hype is overshadowing Wilson's steady excellence, and they're concerned that voters may be swayed away from the proven stars who have been leading their teams the entire season by flashy rookie performances.
A'ja Wilson's currently the heavy MVP favorite. Clark has jumped to a distant second, according to oddsmakers. So looking at
she looks like a completely different player.
They look like a completely different.
Because she did the work during the All-Star break.
Her.
Caitlin said, I don't want to do none of that. I'm going to the lab. I need to fix what's going on here. And now we see the difference. She's like, nah, I'm going to chase that MVP because ain't nobody fixing me.
Well,
You may be asking yourself, isn't this just sour grapes? But it's not that easy. These comments are revealing deeper problems in the WNBA, including dissatisfaction with Mark's media coverage and the way the league markets its stars. The backlash isn't just hurting the veterans, it's also putting pressure on Clark herself. Some nights, it seems like the criticism is getting to her. There have been games where she seemed hesitant, possibly trying too hard to prove she's a team player. Some veterans feel like they've been fighting for recognition for years, only to have a rookie jump in and get all the attention.
Not right now. Right now? No. By the time the end of the season, for sure. She's going to unanimously win it.
Wait, hold on.
The only reason y'all don't want to unanimously give it to her.
I'm not saying,
Look, Candace Parker got it, right?
But was Candace Parker on a great team?
She got it, regardless.
Sometimes it seems like she has rocket fuel in her veins. For example, during a game against the Chicago Sky, the crowd booed her every move. What did Clark do? She scored 35 points, dished out 12 assists, and made the game-winning 3 at the buzzer. As she ran back to the locker room, you could see her asking, "Is that enough for you?" This entire situation is making the WNBA examine how it strikes a balance between supporting its established stars and fostering exciting new talent. Is it time to welcome a new era, or should rookies have to wait for their day in the spotlight?
And just teams,
Yeah,
just
this is crazy.
like
Yes.
Asia's team is not dominating like it was
She's number one in
last
sales.
year's, right? She wasn't dominating last year.
Okay,
The team
give
is
her
not
an award for
dominating.
that.
They didn't have Chelsea Gray for
And they just also knew. I'm watching them play in real time. She hit numbers, but they.
What I'm saying is,
not
let's just
the same.
say Asia's team keeps losing, but she's still balling, and Caitlin's team is winning and she's balling. The tide will shift, and they're going to try to push it because of the team winning.
Clark demonstrated why she is different in a single moment, just when it seemed like the pressure might be too much. She silenced her skeptics and left everyone wondering if this was the best rookie season ever. What exactly did Clark do, and how did it change the course of her MVP campaign? It all came down to one game against the Las Vegas Aces. The crowd was electrified and the excitement in the air was palpable as Clark faced off against AIA Wilson, the incumbent MVP and her fiercest opponent for this year's award. Clark had been suffering with the criticism, and some fans were worried that she would lose it.
She's broken records already, bro.
Okay.
What are y'all talking about? She's broken WNBA records. What are y'all you discrediting her?
I'm not.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, if
She has changed the game.
unanimous.
That alone as a rookie, think about this. A motherfucker sped up to try to bump me.
Oh, God.
Ooh. Well,
I'm a rookie. You the vet. You know how fucking powerful I gotta be for you to have that type of animosity in your heart?
well, Rashad,
However, it was immediately apparent that Clark was on a mission when the ball tipped off, as she was all over the floor making impossible passes and draining threes. By halftime, Clark had already scored 20 points and disheveled 8 assists, even locking down Wilson on defense. However, it was her performance in the fourth quarter that truly stunned everyone.
Caitlin is Jean Grey out there.
I can tell you this.
She's an Omega level mute.
X-Men.
Omega. She's a Phoenix.
Hilarious.
I can tell you something right now is the fact that they have her second in MVP clearly says she's going to win Rookie of the Year.
The ball sailed through the air and the arena went silent. Swish. Nothing but net as Clark hit a game-winning 3 over the MVP herself. With 30 seconds remaining and the ace up by 2, Clark stole the ball from Wilson and ran down the court. Just when everyone thought she would go for the tie, she pulled up from way beyond the arc.
Caitlin Clark now has the rookie record, the history of the WNBA, as she's now going to try to set the all-time record.
Clark's teammates surrounded her on the court as the final buzzer sounded, but even more unexpectedly, Wilson approached and gave Clark a big hug during the post-game interview, shocking everyone by declaring, "That's what greatness looks like." Clark is not only the league's future, she is its present.
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA. I mean, you had somebody who was the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history who plays for Las Vegas. And nobody talked about her. Nobody talked about Kelsey. Wonderful player. Nobody talked about her. Caitlin Clark is just different. And you saw that yesterday. Again, they beat a good team, and she was great. But her ability to get her teammates involved is what's going to stand out to me with her rookie season, to remind you of just how great she is.
Abruptly, the story that was being told about Clark began to change her coach. Even some of Clark's most critical critics began to approach veteran player Diana Taurasi, who had been dubious of the rookie hype, declaring, "I've never seen anyone adapt to the pro game this quickly. Clark's got something special." Lisa Bleer came out swinging in support of her star player Caitlin, saying that she's not just putting up numbers, but also improving everyone around her.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. And if I said to any of these people who think Caitlin Clark is not the Rookie of the Year, I'd say, who would you want to start your franchise with?
Clark began using her platform to encourage her teammates and shine a light on the entire league in press conferences, where she would discuss the incredible talent in the WNBA and how honored she was to compete against such incredible players. However, it wasn't just her on-court performance that was drawing attention.
Their home attendance was 1,800 fans. Their average this year, home attendance, is 17,000. That's almost 10 times. And, of course, the big difference is Caitlin Clark.
As the season progressed, Clark's game continued to develop. She worked tirelessly on her defense, knowing that was the one area critics could still point to, and by the All-Star break, she was leading the league in steals in addition to her scoring and assist numbers. Fans began saturating social media with messages of support, not just for Clark, but for the entire WNBA. Suddenly, the league was receiving more media coverage than ever before.
I think she should be up for MVP. Rookie of the Year, foregone conclusion. But I think MVP. Now, I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number one pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
Hold on. Clark is leading in steals, which is awesome and all, but that's not even the most bizarre aspect of her story. What if I told you that she's not only killing it on the court, but also completely upending the way the WNBA is measured? We're talking about a radical change in how women's basketball success is measured.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Let's dissect this. Not only is Clark producing incredible numbers, but she is also completely altering the game. Remember when rookies were supposed to wait their turn? Well, Clark threw the playbook out the window. She is demonstrating that impact is more important than age and experience, and boy, is she creating one.
She's learned how to play the game, and she said, I had to learn how to play the WNBA way. But also, she needed a rest. She needed a rest after the season in college basketball. A month later, she's playing games, and she's playing against really good teams, and then they stacked the schedule up front so everybody got to see her play. She struggled. And I said, second half of the season, look out, and that's exactly what's happened for her and her backcourt mate, Kelsey Mitchell. She's wonderful, too.
I believe Caitlin Clark has a shot to win MVP. Please share your ideas in the comment section below.
So if you have an MVP vote, do you give Caitlin Clark a second place
Yes.
MVP? Okay.
Yes. A'ja Wilson's MVP.
Correct.
Consider it. When was the last time you witnessed a rookie emerge as the league's face right away? Clark is filling highlight reels in addition to seats, sports talk shows, and social media feeds because of Clark's incredible play. The WNBA is receiving more attention than ever before.
But once again, I'm talking about the totality of somebody's value. Her value is felt every place she goes, every arena she goes. TV, ratings, value. Now, look, that's not, I guess, fair, with statistical categories.
Is marketability, leadership, and statistics the only factors considered in an MVP? In addition to being a fantastic player, Clark is also a compelling tale, and in the current media environment, that is important.
But this is something that, to me, is larger than the stats that you're going to have. Value, I think she should be runner-up to A'ja Wilson. Now, there have been wonderful players. There are wonderful players. I'm talking about something that maybe is hard to define, but you know it when you see it.
You may be asking, well, but what about the veterans? Are they still mad? Well, something unexpected happened as Clark kept going all out and using her platform to support her teammates and the league. Many of those critics began to surface because they realized that Clark's success wasn't just about her. It was also boosting the WNBA's profile overall. Now, let's talk numbers. Since Clark joined the league, TV ratings have increased by 20%, ticket sales have increased by 30% overall, and the WNBA's social media engagement has doubled, and sponsors are vying for a piece of the action. Clark has evolved into a one-woman marketing force for women's basketball in addition to being a player.
So the Fever, in their game against the Minnesota Lynx, was $1.219 million. On Ion! On Ion! Follow game they need to get happy with.
However, the true game-changer young girls throughout who are part of the next generation are picking up basketballs with the hopes of becoming the next record amounts of signups are being reported by Caitlin Clark, an AAU coach. The skill pool for women's basketball is larger than ever, according to college recruiters.
Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per-game TV viewership.
Caitlin Clark has changed the WNBA playbook and gone from a rookie who caused controversy to a possible MVP. But the real issue is, what does Clark's spectacular rise imply for women's sports?
One more thing on Caitlin, which makes her super valuable, is she is leading the WNBA in points generated, which means points scored and or points assisted on. She is leading the league by a significant margin, and she is doing this as a rookie with a Fever team that is not comprised of a bunch of all-stars.
Consider it. In addition to altering the way we view female athletes, Clark is demonstrating that rookies can take the lead, that women's sports can attract sizable audiences, and that the WNBA can be a must-watch television program.
And so that's why maybe the MVP category is just about how you think about it. Do you think about it as the single best, most skilled player in the league, which right now is which right now is A'ja Wilson? Give her the crown. That is absolutely hers. Or is it the most valuable and most impactful to the team?
However, Clark's influence extends beyond basketball. She is encouraging a new generation of girls to pursue their dreams by demonstrating that women's sports can be just as significant, thrilling, and marketable as men's. Clark is not only the WNBA's future, she is the future of sports in general, and believe me, this is only the beginning.